Boom! Let's knit a thing. Oh, hi. Once you go sheep, you never go cheap. Oh, hi. I'm Shannon, and this is soxcetera, my podcast about knitting.
Oh, hi. I'm Steve Fisher. I barely know how to knit, but I'm learning the lingo. Also, I'm the camera person.
True facts. And today is Tuesday, October 25th, and right now I am in a campground called Kirk Creek Campground on the Big Sur in California. And it's, as you can see, gorgeous. And so we snagged a campsite here for 3 nights. Tonight is our last night. With this beautiful scenery, I thought, why not record today? Some of you have been following along on my vlogs because we are 2 weeks into a 6-week working holiday along the coast. We are going as far as San Diego and Palm Springs. Steve has a speaking gig there, so we thought we'd work and play from the road. And so if you've been watching my vlogs, I've been doing daily vlogs, and you've been here only for those. I just want to warn you, this is not that. This is a different beast altogether. So you are welcome to stay or you are welcome to go. You can find me on Ravelry and Periscope as Shannon Fisher, and you can find me on Instagram as Shannon Mariah. And the full show notes for this podcast are on Ravelry under the soxcetera Ravelry group. So Kirk Creek Campground is, it's only about 35 sites. It's a really small little campground, and they do take walk-ins, but we didn't want to drag the trailer up here with a full load of water and everything, not sure if we would have a site. So we booked ahead of time, and we feel really lucky to get here because most reviews online say that you have to book 6 months in advance, and we definitely didn't do that, but we still managed to snag a site. So far we've been to a couple different places, and we backtracked a little bit from Morro Bay to come to this campground. And then next, we're heading on to Santa Barbara, where we will be right in the town, right?
Just outside. I think it's called El Capitan. Not the mountain, the campground. On the beach, though.
Yay.
Yeah, dry camping. It'll be the last 3 days of our 2 weeks of dry camping. Solar power for the win.
Yes. So, and then after that, we'll be heading on to Anaheim, where Steve and Emma are going to do Disneyland. We couldn't get care for the dogs, so I will not be joining them. But I think once we've been to San Diego and been down to Palm Springs on the way back, we're going to do Disneyland one more time, and I will hopefully have found care for the dogs, and so I'll join them for a couple days. They got seasons passes last year right around this time, so they're trying to soak in as much as they can before they run out. So Emma's had a pretty epic year with all of their Disneyland trips. I think most adults I know haven't even been to Disneyland once, and she's been like 6 or 7 times now. So yay for her. And Steve. They'll actually be there on Halloween, and Steve is going as Steven Universe, and Emma is going as Mabel from Star versus the Forces of Evil. I'm more familiar with Steven Universe. I've watched that. I haven't watched Star versus the Forces of Evil, but so they should be pretty cute. You'll see pictures in my feed. Most of the time we have been doing some work. We've had some client work. We're getting ready for our conference that we do every year in Vancouver. These 3 days on the Big Sur have been sort of a forced holiday because there is no cell service here. So that's been kind of nice to have like zero connection to the outside world. It was a little bit scary at first. I mean, I've definitely gone without cell service before, but there's just something about being remote and then being remote without any connection to the outside world that felt really unnerving, but it has been wonderful, and I've been so thankful for that forced break. So I've been knitting a lot, and we've been doing lots of fun things at night as a family, and I think we're going to do some hiking today. So I'm really thankful for this gorgeous weather and for just the chance to be here. I kind of have been pinching myself a few times a day because this is it's a pretty coveted location worldwide, and I feel really lucky to have experienced it this way. I mentioned that I've been doing daily vlogs, and I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who's been watching them and leaving comments on Instagram and on YouTube, and for cheering me on, because for about 4 days I was like, "Whoa, this is so awesome! This is so fun! I want to do this forever!" And then on about day 6, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe I said I'd do this for 6 weeks." Because it's a lot of work. They've been really fun, but I feel myself very preoccupied throughout the day with getting a good shot or getting something interesting for the vlog, or even at night when I would normally, have some downtime with a show or some knitting or whatever else I'm editing now. Previous to this campaign here, I hadn't been actually getting a lot of knitting done. I've just found them a little bit taxing on top of the fun that they are. So we will see. We'll see if I keep them up. But it helps a lot to have you guys commenting and saying that you've been enjoying them, because it means I'm not just doing it for nothing. And I mean, even if you guys weren't enjoying them, it would be a keepsake that we would have as a family that we've actually already been enjoying looking back on. We like watching them together every night once I've finished editing them before I upload them. So they have been fun, and they are going to be a really nice keepsake for us, but just no promises on how long I will last with those. They might become something I do like every other day or every 3 days or something. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But again, thank you for watching, and if you haven't had a chance to watch, then do check those out. I can't remember, I did one that was completely wordless, and I think that was day 6 or part 6. I didn't call it day 1, 2, 3. I called them part 1, 2, 3, just in case I didn't end up doing every day. That day ended up being my favorite day. I don't really have Shouty Shan for you today. Shouty Shan, for those of you who might be joining us for the first time, is a segment of my podcast where I talk about social justice issues and mental health issues. And because I have no internet access, I haven't really been doing a lot of reading or necessarily thinking about those things. But I guess what I have been doing is thinking a lot about the beauty industry and the pressure on women to stay looking young and beautiful as I sort of rough it. We definitely are glamping, but there is an element of roughing it. I guess I've been thinking a little bit about the pressure the world puts on women to be beautiful and perfect and clear-skinned and wrinkle-free, especially as I get older, and especially as I sort of don't tend to my appearance much while we're on the road, because really, frankly, I just don't give a shit about it. I guess it's just got me thinking a little bit about doing those things during my daily routine when I'm at home, and the ways that I try to do them in a way that is empowering to myself, but I'm still very cognizant of the grip that the patriarchy has on me, because I can tell myself that, I put on makeup on the days that I put on makeup because it's fun, and I do my hair, and I put product in my hair, and I use wrinkle-free cream. because it makes me feel good, and all of those things are true, but it also makes me feel good because society has told me that, without those things, the more I wrinkle, the more I age, the more my hair gets gray, the more gravity takes over, the less worth I have. And so that thought has itself rooted in my psyche while I'm doing all of those things and telling myself that I'm doing them because they make me feel good. So it's just interesting to be on the road thinking, I have less space to carry those things. I have less inclination to take the time that it takes to be that put together every day. And it feels kind of great to be free from that stuff in a way that it just doesn't at home, because I feel like at home I'm sort of expected to be more put together, whereas when you walk out of a trailer, no one really expects you to be well groomed. So it's just a nice surprise when I am. So yeah, it's been a nice forced break from all of that stuff as well. And I don't know if that makes sense, and I don't even know if I'll leave it in, because I gave no thought to really what I was going to say before I said it. Yeah, so those are some of the things I've been thinking about while we've been on the road. That takes us to knitting, and I have 0 finished objects to speak of. I have a sad, fine, and dandy story that if you've been following along on my vlogs, you will know a bit about. I finished my fine and dandies, which I showed you last time I podcast, and I think a couple days later we hit the road, and so I put them on. I put them on first thing. I wore them to hit the road, and then the further south we traveled, the hotter it got, so I took them off my feet and I shoved them in the pocket of the car door. And over the next couple days, as we got in and out of the car, I would see them there, and I would think, I really need to take those and put them back in the laundry basket in the camper. And so when we got to our first campsite where we settled and started to unpack it a bit, I went to go get them, and there was only one fine and dandy. So, and it's just the irony of it, because I started those socks in March. I had a love-hate relationship with them. I was going to frog them, and then I decided, no, I'm just going to do something really wacky with them. So I added a bunch of weird stripy colors, didn't carry on with the pattern, finished them, loved them, wore them, lost one. So now I have one sad fine and dandy sock. I just think those socks were not meant to be. And so now I have one sock, and I'm not totally sure what I'm going to do with it, because I do have enough yarn that I could probably replicate it, but we all know that is never, ever going to happen. I don't know if I'll frame it, or maybe I'll just make an oddball sock to go with it. We'll see. I haven't quite decided yet. I have 3 works in progress that I would like to show you. So my Trillium cardigan, which I talked about last time, but I don't think I showed you because I don't know if I had it nearby. Actually, I did. So, okay. So this is silly that I'm even showing you, because I have made 0 progress on this since last showing you. I just need to finish this ribbing, you guys, and then it's going to go more quickly. But it's a broken twisted rib. And it's called Trillium, and it's a pattern. It's a Brooklyn tweed pattern by, I believe, Alicia Wong, and it's beautiful. I love it, and I know once I get past this ribbing, it's going to be fine, and it's going to fly off my needles. So I just need to do that. But this is the Humming Bee Farm yarn. It's a worsted weight, and I don't know, I don't see it named, but it's like this. Yeah, they don't name their colorways. So that's my Trillium. Hopefully next time we talk, I will have made a lot of progress on this. Fingers crossed. I started these socks before we left. these are just a pair of vanilla socks that I started with the Richard DeVries yarn that I got at Knit City. And I'm adding contrasting toes and heels. I don't think I'll do contrasting cuffs. But the only reason I'm doing contrasting toes and heels is because the Richard DeVries yarn does not have any nylon content in it. And I know that people say that it's a pretty high twist yarn, and so it's probably durable enough that I don't need the nylon, but I'd rather be safer than sorry. So I am just doing a plain vanilla sock. It's a 64 stitch sock, which actually is a little bit big for me, but I kind of like my socks a little bit bigger. And I think my rounded toe finally worked out. Jenny from Lone Larch told me how to do a rounded toe, and so you just increase every row until you get to 20 stitches, and then you increase every other row until you get to your desired amount of stitches. And I think it finally worked. I think I have the rounded toe I've been hoping for. And now to do I'm just at the gusset right now, and I've really been enjoying Nathan Taylor's recipe for a gusset and heel flap with German short rows, and that's the Sockmatician's sock recipe on Ravelry, and it's really inexpensive. I can't remember how much it is. It's in pounds, obviously, but or euros. But it was inexpensive, and I've used it for the last 3 pairs of socks, including this one. And it's super simple to follow, and the math makes a lot of sense. And I just love how a gusset and heel flap look. I think that it's just such a pretty sock look. So I've been really enjoying adding that to my socks lately. But for some reason, I've been mostly avoiding these. I knit them on the first leg of our trip. And then, like I said, I got sort of tied up in the vlogs, and at night I didn't have much time to knit with the editing, and then while we were traveling, I just kind of didn't feel much like it. I have knit on them a little bit during virtual knit nights, which I have been hosting lately, and some of you have been asking me about that. So how virtual knit nights work is I Periscope, and then I just, and it came about because I was Periscoping, and I just felt like hanging out, and I thought, this isn't really hanging out. Like, I don't get to interact with anybody in a really meaningful, sustainable way. So I thought, all of these people are on my Periscope right now. I wonder if any of you have time to hop on to Google Hangout and we can hang out. And so that's how the very first one started. And so now I've found a platform called Zoom that I had to buy a membership for, but it allows us to do everything we need to do. Everyone can be on camera, and we can have a good number of participants. So what happens is I hop onto Periscope and I say, hey, anyone have time for a virtual knit night later today or in an hour or whenever? And the people who are interested send me a direct message on Instagram, and then once I get the link set up for the room that we're going to be in, I send it out to everybody, and everyone just pops in. They pop in for an hour or 20 minutes or 3 hours. Some of our virtual knit nights have lasted about 5 hours, and we've had some international folks able to join us. People from everywhere have come, and it's been really, really cool. I've done 2 so far on this trip when I've been able to find some good, stable Wi-Fi service, and so I've knit on these a couple times, but even then I just sort of petered out on them, and I sort of put them down, and I just end up listening to the chatter and joining in on it. So there's something about these socks that is not compelling to me right now, but I do just, once I get past the heel, I think, or maybe even past the gusset, because I really actually enjoy the heel quite a bit, then I think we'll fly on them. And I think for the whole leg of the sock, I'm going to do a 2x2 rib. I'm going to just go until this runs out, because this was an 80 gram skein, I think. 60, 80, not sure. Right here. 65 grams. So yeah, I'm just going to knit the leg until this runs out. And the heel will be done in this same red. And this actually I used in my tailwind shawl, and it is Matosh, and it definitely has nylon content in it. Hopefully I don't stuff them in the door and lose one. The last thing I have to show you is something that I have been working on basically exclusively the whole time that we've been on the Big Sur. And again, I think it's because I'm avoiding my cardigan and avoiding the socks. But I was able to square off my Cozy Memories blanket. And let me just find the side that I've been working on. So yeah, all of these squares right here, this line all along here is what I've been able to add this time around. And so it's squared off. Right now it's 7 by 8. And I'm really enjoying working on it a lot. I might spend the next day adding that 8th row along this side. So it's 8 by 8. But what I did was I just threw in a bunch of minis that I had into the blanket, or into the bag that I've been keeping my Cozy Memories blanket in, which is my Mrs. Brown's bag. And just last night I just sort of organized them by color, because what I'm trying to do with my blanket right now is sort of do patches of color. So as you can see, I kind of have done like purples and pinks here. So I'm gonna try to do like a purple section and a pink section, maybe a green section and a blue section. So I just took all of the minis that I had with me and I just popped them into Ziplocs based on their color. That's kind of made the whole process pretty mindless for me to just like go to the color bag that I need and pick the next mini that I want. A couple people have asked me how I decided what yarn to bring and what projects to bring, and I just thought I think I've made 9 pairs of socks this year, so I wanted to try to get it up to 12, so I bought 3 pairs of socks to knit on. I brought that cardigan and enough to knit on another cardigan, and then I thought, if by some miracle I knit through all of that, then we could hit some yarn stores on the road. And we have actually been able to hit a couple yarn stores. I only bought from one, and that was in a town called Cambria, which is just north of Morro Bay, where we stayed for 6 days. And they're on my feet right now. I bought kind of a funny thing. I didn't buy yarn. I bought socks knit by online yarn, and these were only $5 more than the actual yarn itself. And the reason I bought these is because I just done Knit City, so I have a ton of yarn in my stash. But with them only being $5 more than the yarn and just losing my Fine and Dandy, I thought it was kind of a fun little thing to buy myself. Socks that are already made, and they were just such fun colors that looking at them made me really happy. So that's a funny, strange little purchase that I made in Cambria. On the last episode, I mentioned that I was going to start a Fuck It, It's Fine thread in the soxcetera Ravelry group for all of us to share our various projects that we've made mistakes in and just plowed through anyways. And a lot of you have been coming there and sharing your stories, and it's been so fun to hear them. And I thought, if you have other Fuck It, It's Fine stories that have nothing to do with knitting, go ahead and share those there too, because I'm sure we all have those. Like me, when I wake up every morning and it's day 4 of no shower and I have to go out into the world and I'm like, fuck it, it's fine. And I just go. Last spring, Sarah from the Knitting Type podcast and I, we did a bag swap. And it was so wonderful and successful, and I think all of you loved it and have been asking if we're going to do it again. And so we have decided that, yes, we are indeed going to do it again. The sign-up starts in either of our groups on November 1st. If you only sign up in both groups if you want 2 swap partners. So if you want just 1 swap partner, either sign up in Sarah's or mine, but not both. You're welcome to have 2 swap partners, and if that's the case, then do sign up in both of ours. So sign-ups start on November 1st and those go until November 15th. And then we will arrange for you to get your partner by the 20th. And then you and your partner can talk between each other and decide what else you're going to send to each other. If you want to do just bag swaps, that's fine. If you want to include tees or minis or a skein of yarn, that's totally fine too. But just decide between yourselves so that you're not getting really lopsided swaps. Make sure to have your bags made and in the mail by December 15th. And then the only other thing I want to say about that is last time we had about 3 or 4 people who got completely ghosted by their partners. They didn't get a bag, their partner stopped responding to them. So I'm just going to say that if you don't think that you're able to do this, then please don't sign up. And if you signed up last time and you didn't end up sending a bag, then please don't sign up this time. So just make sure to sign up if you know for sure you can follow through. I'm really excited to do that again. I don't know if Sarah and I are going to be swap partners again or if we're going to mix ourselves in with the rest of you. We'll see what happens there. But Sarah's the reason that I can now sew zippers in my bags, and that bag swap is the reason that I can sew zippers in my bags, because I did not have the courage before that. And even if you've never sewn a bag in your life and you want to be part of this bag swap, you are absolutely welcome. This is for people who are at any level of sewing. So just be mindful of that too when you signed up, that you could get a bag from someone who's never ever sewn a bag before, and that just needs to be okay, because this is about being brave and doing something new or doing something that you do a lot and really love. So watch for that thread started by November 1st in both of our groups. That's all for today. Thanks if you're joining me again, and thanks if you're just checking me out for the first time. I will see you guys next time. Big love and squishy hugs!
Okay, you are not a bear, because if you are...
I'm Shannon, and this is my podcast about knitting.
Oh.
No, he's just here to collect the garbage. That's fine. He can be in my podcast. Okay, right now I'm in an unoccupied site. So check-in here, I think, is at 3 o'clock. So somebody obviously checked out. And they won't be here till 3. I'm just going to wait until he's done. Should we play a finger puppet game while we're waiting, or anyone got a joke? Maybe someone could bring me some tea? I'm not sure I remembered to brush my teeth. Something's not going right back there. I can't tell what, but he sounds unhappy. I wonder if he knows he's on camera. I wonder if he cares if he's on camera. Maybe I'll sing you a little song that I've had in my head for days. I want to know if you've ever seen the rain. Oh. It really sucks when you have a song in your head and you only know one line. Not even a line. Half a line. This happens to me a lot. Okay, we're putting the garbage bags in. Yep. Doing our thing. Looking around. It's being very thorough. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day to just sit here and be patient. Well, it looks like Steve's up at our site. Got himself a coffee. Looks like we might be wrapping up. Now Steve's coming. Don't know what he wants. So I think he's taking video of this for the vlog, but what he doesn't know is that I'm actually not podcasting right now because of the weird interruptions. Don't worry. I actually waited for that guy to go, so I might get you to restart it for me.
Oh.
You're recording? You're recording me recording?
Yes, but you're not recording.
at the Big Sur is a big stretch of road all along the west coast between places, which I probably should have looked up before, but I didn't. Basically between LA and San Francisco, somewhere in there. But these 3 days in, where are we? I just feel like I chose a really bad time to podcast because there's so many loud things happening around here. So leaf blower lady is past me now.
Take 10,000.
Yes. Steve left me his coffee, so now I'm drinking cold brew. Let's try this again. And now somebody is mowing behind me. So maybe I will pause again. So first we had the trash guy. Then we had the leaf blower woman. And now someone's mowing. I think someone at head office was like, I think there's a girl down there who's trying to podcast. None of that podcasting business. Nobody wants me to podcast today. You know what? I'm gonna anyways. We'll just have a little coffee break. Steve and I sat outside all day yesterday and none of this stuff happened.